Now, the greatest idea of all time. Stay tuned for
From the Trenches of Hollywood.
Here are your guru guides from the A-list to the D and everything in between. It's Ted and Craig.
Hello, and welcome to From the Trenches of Hollywood in 2022. It's our first show. I am Ted Davies. I'm an artist and author.
Hey, everybody. Craig Hall here, filmmaker, writer, friend to the world. It's great to be back. I'm so happy for 2022, as they call it. I guess it's the roaring 20s are in full effect now.
No doubt.
We have those of you who have just awoken after a few years of hibernation may or may not know that we've been going through some trying times the last couple of years. So looking ahead to a great 2022. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being with us. A lot of things to cover today. Ted, how was your New Year's?
It was awesome. Safely at home. Had a very good evening. Wrote a lot. Been writing a lot into the new year, so things are going good.
I've been working on my house.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's a mess inside. That's why you see me outside right now.
Yeah.
I talked about last year. I was hoping to have some construction completed by the time we came back, but that didn't quite work out. So, hey, roll with the punches, baby, right? So I'm lucky. I'm in Southern California. Beautiful weather, 80 degrees. So I can't complain too much.
No. It's a little bit cooler than that here. So.
Well, I hope everyone's been writing. We left off last year, the introduction to the show, first few episodes. If you haven't listened to them, look them up, find out what started all this madness. And it really was just us giving some pointers, trying to answer some questions from folks on how to jumpstart their writing. They weren't looking to go take a class or sign up for a seminar, or they just had a question, and so hopefully we've been able to answer a lot of those for you with the show. We want to get a little bit deeper this year though, right, Ted?
Absolutely. And yeah, so forward on any of those deeper questions that you want us to answer, help you answer.
Not just deeper questions. The show, we're going to go a little bit deeper. We've got some new segments. You want to tell them about what we got coming up this year? We're adding some couple of new segments.
We've got, first off, we've got this great thing that I think that you came up with. This is just absolutely brilliant. It is the writer's tool chest. And it is going to be awesome as far as it's going to be an arsenal of what you can use as a developing author or a screenwriter, and how it's going to make hopefully your process just a little bit easier.
Yeah, I love it. And so let's kick it off 2022 with the first edition of the Writer's Tool Chest. So what are we talking about this week?
We are talking software. What do you write on, or what do you write with? What do you create with? And what helps you get there? What other type of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Writing aids.
Thank
tools.
You. Yep.
Yeah. There's so many options out there for everybody. I think the most common that most people know about is Word, and we've talked about that in past episodes, especially people who are writing novels, but especially people who are more old school. But we know in this digital age, there's so many different tools out there. So I just wanted to talk about a couple of screenwriting programs that are available. Some are super popular. You've heard of them before. Probably the two most popular would be Final Draft, and we are now at Final Draft 10. Final Draft 11, I guess, is coming out, which I've been writing on for years. It's a kind of a standard. And then there's also Movie Magic Screenwriter. These two are both very similar. They have all the bells and whistles. They have great databases to handle everything from remembering characters and locations and even actions and sounds. It just creates a library with everything that you work with. It is also a smart software. It includes organizational tools like Story Map, which you use to create your outlines. Or Beat Board. You remember we talked with Rolf Konevsky. He talked about beat sheets. So this is built into Final Draft. Also alternate dialogue. This is a little option. You can store different pieces of dialogue. You can interchange it for that same character, that same moment. So you can kind of flip things out, which is kind of cool to get a different look at it. And then Movie Magic Screenwriter. This one too, been around a long time. This, in fact, this is the file format preferred by the Writers Guild of America West, which is in Hollywood. So they prefer, if you're going to register a screenplay with them, the screenwriter file format is what they prefer the file to be delivered in. But it's great. It has all the pretty much same basic tools as Final Draft. It also has, they both have real-time collaboration, which is great. They both have authored templates. They both have index card viewing. They both have tracking. They track revisions, and they both work with some of the most popular software to take the screenplay to the next level if you're going to be breaking it down for production. It can be imported into scheduling software and budgeting software, both of them. So they're great. Deal with those. They're both pricey. They start at around $250 and up. So it's they're great. They're great professional tools, but there is a price tag. Now there are a couple of free pieces out there as well. And there's one that I've mentioned in the past called Trebly, which is actually a downloadable program. It's a free software piece that you can use that is got a lot of the built-in elements that you would find in a lot of these screenwriting programs. It does have a few limitations that I found when it came to quickness of use. There were some shortcuts that it's missing when comparable to like Final Draft or Scripter. Little intricacies that if you're writing all the time that you notice. But if you're new to writing screenplays, you won't think twice about it. So that's Trebly. Now that's one, like I said, that you download. There's another one out there that's called Studio Binder. Now Studio Binder is part of a bigger software package, but it's all online. And you're storing everything onto the cloud. Now you can download your work, of course, but the software runs online. So you're logging into an account, and with Studio Binder, it is set up to take your screenplay all the way through post-production. So what that means is it helps you set up everything from calendars and casting lists and shooting scripts to schedules and budgets and post-production schedules. And it's supposed to be a one-stop end-to-end user platform for producing your projects. And it's not just limited to screenplays. It's also set up to help in pretty much any type of video work, whether it's some shorter projects, documentaries, things like that. It's a really nice workflow tool if you're going to take it to that next level. But the screenwriting element of it, which is what we're really trying to talk about here, is very comparable to Final Draft, quite honestly. And what I found is really cool about Studio Binder is that you can actually import a script that you already have, including a Final Draft version of a script, into the software here, work on it in the screenwriting program, or just take it right into the other workflow pieces that it has. But also, you can export the script that you've been working on Studio Binder in a Final Draft file. So that's a great thing as well. If you needed to move it over to Final Draft, or if you were to take it up to that next level, or you're working with people who were only working in, let's say, a version of Movie Magic scheduling or budgeting, well, Final Draft files can be imported directly into that software. So being able to turn your file into a Final Draft version file is great. So I do like Studio Binder. And I do like Trebly. Like I said, it does have a few limitations, but for a beginning writer, you can't lose with either one of these two pieces of software. Like I said, one is you'll download with Trebly, and Studio Binder, though, entirely working online. So that's what I got for you in the software corner today. So you've got a couple of writing aids, though.
I do.
What do you got?
Well, we've got two. The biggest thing with a lot of us writers is procrastination or distraction. Life gets in the way. You know, you get whether dog's got to go out or whatever. You find something on YouTube and you go down the rabbit hole of that. You know, you're learning all about something new or some software or what have you. So, stay focused is one of the ones. If you're a Chrome user, it's very. It's basically if you aren't a Chrome user, it's not really valid, but it's a self-imposed time limit software. So you set up your how many minutes or how many hours you're allowed to do such and such. And again, a lot of this is self-discipline, but this can help you get to the point where it's your social media network, everything else is off, so that you can get to your focused, what you need to get done for the day. So I mean, stay focused. Like I said, it's not anything that you probably couldn't do on your own, but I think it's nice to have for the people that it's a rest assured, that you can count on it, that it'll kick up. Um, and again, you have to set up the certain parameters. But it's called Stay Focused. Interesting concept. The other one is called Illis, and it's IIYS, and it basically you set the word count and you don't look back. You can basically type on your computer. You're all set. It overlays with I believe it overlays with Word. I have to double check that, but you basically see one letter at a time. So it's a very very focused. You don't go back and re-edit and edit as you're writing. I don't know if I would use that one because I think that I like doing that. I like hopping back and forth, as I've said, my process. Um, but one letter at a time, I don't know. It seems kind of that might be a little distracting because you might not remember the word that you're typing. I don't know, but it's called Illis. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. It blocks out everything else so that there's no editing. And I don't believe that it blocks out social media popping up on different things. So that could be a trade-off. But those were the two that I looked at this week. Stay Focused looks like an interesting program. And I know we've had apps on our phones and that time us, or even our phones do that now. You can set up how much time you spend on social media and that, which is nice. So either one of these could work for you if you're in the need of it.
So both similar to the writing aids out there. I guess yeah, it's discipline, right? People always have to
Right. And
get
a lot of this
motivated.
too, I'm sorry, a lot of this too is, uh, I would think, especially in your software, what you did or what you're working with, is there a learning curve? Do you have a lot of learning curve from what you're seeing on a lot of these things, or is it pretty
Well,
standard?
they're all pretty standard, quite honestly. Once you learn on one, they're all very similar. There's only the main tools, that is, I should say, are all
Mhm.
similar, but it's adding these different little bells and whistles that they've added now, being able to index your scenes. Like a scripter, they make a big deal about how you're able to pull up on the screen index cards of your scenes and help rearrange your scene order if necessary. Something that I did with real cards 20 years ago,
Right.
20 plus years ago. But so now it's like a really cool thing to add to software. I should get a royalty check for that. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But
It's good though.
things like that, they add on, but they're not difficult to learn. Really, it is. There is another piece of software out there that actually is pretty cool.
Mhm.
That is one that was developed by some screenwriters, and it is a piece of software that gosh, let me see if I can find the name of it. It's called Hyland software is what it's called,
Mm.
but it saves everything in fountain file format. So it's a text-based file. It's compatible with pretty much every screenwriting software out there.
Mhm.
It's almost like a rich text format, sort of, but it's called fountain file. So it's just some simple plain text, and it gives you the ability to use this software on anything, anywhere.
Mm.
Everything from Google Docs to a notepad on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop, whatever, anywhere you
Wow.
are. And so it's really was developed with the idea of John August is the one who developed it. He was the screenwriter of Big Fish,
Oh,
the Tim
sure.
Burton Big Fish,
Mhm.
and Go, the film Go. Um, but he wanted something that didn't take a lot of thought into learning how to use the software. It was more about just stay focused on writing and
Mhm.
getting the words out. That's the most important thing. You don't want to be stuck trying to figure out how to use the tool. You want to be able to just use it. So that was the whole idea with it. And it's out there. It's called Hyland software. And um check it out. If you're someone who's on the go and on the move all the time, I think that that's one that might work for you. It looks very simple to use as well. I can't say from experience that I have used it because I haven't. I'm just aware of it. I do believe though that it's Apple based, so I think
Mhm.
I have to look into that. But check it out. Check it out, folks. Hey, if you have favorite software that you use to write, let us know. Send us a message. You can get us on social media at Hollywood Trenches on Instagram, on Facebook at From the Trenches of Hollywood. Look forward to your questions. Got a couple of questions here. We kind of skipped over this earlier.
We did.
Um, so we got a couple of questions. Let's go into this first one here. This is from Nita.
Mhm.
Nita, hello Nita. Thanks for listening. She says, "Hi, I'm writing about my life story. It's turned into fiction. Am I okay to write that in 1993 I went to the cinema and saw Whitney Houston's movie The Bodyguard? And can I write about how I danced to the song by Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You? Or can I not add any famous person's name or movie?" Great question. Very good question.
Mhm.
Um, so you want to take this, or I can?
Uh,
You
I don't know the music. Obviously, no. If she's saying she's going to write about this, sure, she's going to film this. I mean, that's
so
there's a
it
couple.
says it sounds like she just wants to reference going to the
Yeah.
movie. So if you're just referencing what you did in 1993 within the book, and
Mhm.
sure, you can say Whitney Houston's movie, you can say The Bodyguard, you can even say that you danced to the song and say the title of the song, but you cannot play the music without licensing it. You
Correct.
can write about it, but you cannot play the clip. So I'm assuming this is writing my life story. I don't know. It's just turned into fiction. So she could be writing as a novel even.
Mhm.
So yes, no, go for it. You can totally mention things like that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Mhm.
Um, so go for it, Nita. 93, dating yourself, you young
Yeah.
thing. You were just like
I remember 93, I think.
93, man, was a blur to me. I was living in Hollywood, young
And-
screenwriter, making it happen, working as a tour guide at Universal Studios. See how I just said Universal Studios, Nita?
Yep.
And I
Yeah.
can say that. It's
Yeah.
okay. I'm talking about my life, my experiences. So
Yeah.
yes, I can do that. I just can't sing the Universal theme song, whatever that is. I don't even know what that is. Is there one?
I don't know. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
man.
What
All
about
right.
lyrics? What about
Yeah.
lyrics? She can't write the lyrics in the story, though. Correct.
No, she cannot quote the song without quoting someone.
Okay.
And if she's not performing it, that's a whole nother story. So,
Right.
like, yeah,
Right.
that leads us right into this next question. Actually, I'm
Yep.
looking at it right here. So it's from Mia. She asks similar
Mhm.
things. Says, "Hello, hello all. Well, hello, Mia. Quick question! Exclamation point! Quick question! I want to include song lyrics from a musician in my book. Do I need permission to do this?"
Mm.
Yes, you do. You see, the difference with lyrics and just mentioning Whitney Houston or the title The Bodyguard
Mhm.
is the intellectual property side of it. The moment that you put someone else's words in, you're using their words. So you would have to get permission to directly quote the song. And especially if you have your character or any character performing it, even if you're just writing it in novel form, you would want to get permission to reprint those lyrics So a lot of times you can get that permission for a very nominal fee because there's no performance involved. It's just a reprinting of the published lyric.
Mhm.
But yes, you gotta get permission for that, Mia. Um, Now, if you wanted to say, let's pick a song. What's a song? Okay, we'll go back to the I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston, because it's right
Mhm.
in front of me. So if you were to put in there, so there was the song by the popular female artist Whitney Houston, where she talked about an eternal love forever of, and I felt like I had, you can kind of paraphrase or rephrase
Right.
it that leads to people to say, must be I Will Always Love You. That's fine. But if you start putting the lyrics in
Yeah,
word for
verbatim. Yeah.
word,
Yeah.
yep, then you got a problem. Hope that answers your question, Mia.
It's good.
Thumbs
Those are
up
good
from Mia.
questions.
I hope so. Hey, listen, if you got questions, remember, send us a quick message. You can get me at Craig E. or Hall E. Wood. You can see it there under my name. You can get Ted at his teddaviesartistry.com. Send us your
Absolutely.
questions there, or Instagram, or Facebook, whatever works for you folks. All of our social media handles, you'll see them pop up now and again. But send those questions out. Happy to help you out. Um, I guess that does it for questions this week. You
Believe
got
so.
anything over there? No?
No, that's it right now. I know that this coming up week we will, but everybody's on vacation, so
Yeah. So I do want to move into another a little bit here real quick that one of the things that kind of comes up from folks, and it's not necessarily a question per se. It's more it's some big pitfalls that people fall in.
so Craig, let's talk about the unbelievable truths.
Aha, yes. Another new segment this year. Hope you're going to enjoy this one. I've got like some of the things that you come across working in Hollywood are just ridiculous and insane and dangerous and silly. I mean, it's just again and again and again and again. The stories you hear are mostly true. Just let me tell you that right now. So we're going to add a segment this year. We're going to hear from some of our friends across the industry around the world, and they're going to chime in, let us know on some of the amazing things that they have run across in the past year, being back on the work trail. Things have started to pick up again. We had the COVID pandemic. It'll be in your history books.
Yeah.
You'll learn about it if this is the far future and you're watching this show. That would be weird. But anyway, yeah, some great stuff. I reached out to some people, they sent me stuff. I mean, everything from animals going crazy, a cougar that hated satin and attacked and shredded all the bedding in a commercial shoot 3 times, and a pair of emus that went running through the house. They got loose and they ripped up the floor as they ran. Oh, another one, my favorite, is there was a friend of mine, Ryan Wilson. Hey Ryan, what's happening? He is a lead man and works in art department. So a lead man, you see all of the credits in a movie, and people are always asking. That's one of the questions you get all the time. Is like, what's a gaffer? What's a grip? What's a best boy? What are these things? So he's a lead man, and a lead man works in the art department, and they have they work with the art director who works with the production designer, and they're kind of the conduit between the creative side and the team that makes it happen, builds it, dresses the set, all of that. So it's a cool position. And the lead men, I have several friends who are lead men and women, and they get to see some unique things.
Yeah, they're
'Cause
great storytellers, right?
well, they're artists, and they're always around. They're always on set. They're always ahead of production, behind production, because they've got to build the sets. They're ahead of them building it. They're on set making sure it's working, and then they're tearing it down after it's all over. So
Yeah.
they see everything. But he has got some great stories. One of mine favorites that he sent me. I'll just touch base on it real quick because we're going to get these folks on, and they're going to give us some of their own versions here coming up in these future episodes. But Ryan was telling me a great one the other day. He was doing a shoot out in the Mojave Desert, and he said they had a kangaroo on set. And working with animals is always crazy. There's always animal stories, trust me. Every show I've done with animals, there's always an issue. But this one, he had a kangaroo. They're working with this kangaroo, and the kangaroo got pissed off and broke loose, took off, just takes off, runs out over some foothills, at the base of a mountain, and they're in the middle of the desert, and they're looking around like, well, there goes the kangaroo. I mean, he's gone. The trainer takes off running into the desert, over the hill, just disappears, chasing after this kangaroo. So they move on. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do now to finish the shoot. And a few hours later, they look up, and here comes the trainer, and he's got a leash. And on the end of the leash, guess what? Not a kangaroo, a reindeer. He went into the desert to capture a kangaroo, and he brought back a reindeer. So these are some of the crazy things that happen on set. And look, these are the good lighthearted ones. I know that we're going to hear some horrible horror stories along the way too. But again, if you've got a story you want to share with us, we'd love to get you on air and tell us your horror story. Whether it's in Hollywood or New York or Buffalo or Memphis, wherever you are, whatever you do, love to hear from you. See, this is good stuff. This is always good, inspiring stuff for writers, I think. Hearing about these unbelievable things that you couldn't even write if you wanted to.
Right.
They're just so silly. They help inspire. They can help you get over that little bit of hump. A good writing aid.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, it's you're human. It's the life of the gag reel, right? And that's what it's about, especially at work.
Yeah. So a lot of good things coming in 2022, everybody. Thanks for stopping in and listening to us today. But we are out of time, and a lot of good stuff coming up this year. I hope you've been writing. I'm ready for people to start sharing some things with us. Coming up next week, we've got a great guest, television writer. I've talked about him in the past. His name is Lee House. Really funny guy. Can't wait to get him on and talk about what he's working on and just his techniques and his experiences. He's a TV guy who's done a lot on his own, but he's also worked in a lot of rooms with a lot of other writers, and how that feels, how that works out. How do you get your idea into the scripts, right? Do you have to muscle it in, or are you just the funniest guy in the room? I mean, with Lee, it could be that. So so make sure you join us next time with Lee, and we'll also talk about some of the pitfalls that you might be falling into yourself as a writer as you try and plug ahead. Are you doing your 2 hours a day? I hope you are.
6 hours a day, but but 2 hours a day. Yes, absolutely.
I hope they're doing their 2 hours a day. Our
I
listeners,
hope so
right?
too.
Those who want to continue on. Look, the only way to get better is practice, just like with anything else, right?
Absolutely.
If it was easy, everybody'd do it. So, all right, man.
I got to write. I got to write, man. I'm writing.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time from the trenches of Hollywood. All right. Keep your nose clean. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.